this is everything wrong with the world. It really is in in more ways than one. And this isn't trying to, bash on Peterson or Shapiro, but both of them have it wrong when it comes to God, when it comes to the Old and the New Testament. They both are wrong. And this is why it continually brings me back to this higher education. It was because Peterson, he needs the Jesus stuff to fit in his box, in his educational box, because he's a brilliant man. He really is. I mean, there's many stuff that, if you've ever listened to him when he was teaching or just anything at all, I mean, he is brilliant. However, his brilliance is what prevents him from understanding Jesus. This goes directly to the Bible. This is why I've said so many times that Jesus didn't go to these people. If Jesus was here right now, Jesus would not go to Jordan Peterson to help him spread the word. He would not go to Ben Shapiro either. No, because this is who Jesus avoided. I mean, because these were the same people. These were the experts. These were the people that were the leaders of the church, the Roman political party. No, Jesus. Where did Jesus go? He went to what the world back then would consider the losers. That's who Jesus went to. Yeah, which is really why you find, I found Jesus in an AA room. I mean, through AA. I mean, talk about a room full of people that are just not more than down on their luck, just have lost everything. So it really kind of shows how the Bible's true, right, in that way alone. But there's so many theologians, and they went to seminary school again. So they've been put into the box of what the seminary school has said. Does anybody in their right mind think that the wicked one of this world didn't get in first to the education system of seminary school? I would guarantee you that it did. I mean, the problem is it's still man's ego. No, Jesus has to work inside my educational brain box. It's like, yeah, that's the problem. No. So Peterson comes from this angle that he looks at Jesus and how he took on the suffering of the world, and on a psychological, and I kind of get what he's saying, but he minimizes it by doing this, okay? Because here, I'll just read from the transcript because it's quite interesting. And then Ben Shapiro, he's just an Old Testament guy, okay? But let's remember, and nothing against Jews. This is not some Jew hatred thing I'm going to say. But there's a reason, because the disciples were Jews. Jesus was a Jew. But the leaders of the church they were Jews. They were the experts of the Jewish doctrine. And they didn't recognize who Jesus was. I think many of them did know who Jesus was. But again, he was going to interfere with their lifestyle. That's really what it comes down to. No, this guy, he's really the expert. Look he's performing miracles. This is gonna interfere with me wearing my robes and my big hats and being seen as some holy roller. Yeah, I think that's really what it had to do with. It shows the fall of man, really. That is such a huge piece to Jesus's life, and it goes directly to how God was too. It does. People think God was one way, and he was in the Old Testament. As Jesus, he was here as a man. Because again, it's always been trying to teach the people. He was raising a nation, raising a people. They kept falling into the Baals and the worshipers of different, idols they kept building up. And so God would say, just go be with your gods, I'm done. And then some other people maybe would get on the right track, and so God would help them, sort of like the pilgrims that came to America. It's really the same thing. They wanted to practice the way they knew was the right way to practice, not the way experts said. So this is why experts are a problem, because the education system will put them in a box to where the God piece, they want to make God work with their education. Yeah, you can't do it. That's why I said they can't break outside the box. Okay, so there's an idea in Christianity, which is, I think, the central idea, which is that you need to face the potential. This is Peterson talking. You need to face the potential for malevolence that exists within you and in the world, so that Christ's confrontation with the devil in the desert with Satan in the Bible, and you have to come to terms with that same kind of malevolence, excuse me. That's part of existence, and you have to voluntarily accept the burden of suffering. And so that's the acceptance of the cross. Okay, so you take it's not. So you take on that, you say the suffering, you take on the suffering. So there's an idea that Christ is a messianic figure because he took the suffering of the world onto himself. And what that means to me is that he was someone speaking conceptually who decided that the suffering of the world was his responsibility, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to decide that that's your responsibility. You take on as a burden to you. The same with malevolence. So when you read history as a perpetrator, right? Maybe you also read it as a victim, but you certainly read it as a perpetrator, and then that's on you. Okay, so then the question is, what happens when you do that? And I would say the answer is two things. First, I was hearing an alarm, sorry. The first is, of all, it starts to force you to develop, like to learn what you need to learn in the world and to absorb the information that would enable you to start face to face with the suffering and to rectify it. It forces you to become a more competent person, and that's the socialization part that you so you know what? So this is truly just ridiculous, okay? Like, I get what he's saying, okay, but Jesus wasn't taking on the suffering of the world because he was expecting us to do that. He was taking on the suffering of the world because he was trying to show the people this is what mankind will do. And that if you want to walk with me, you can expect it to be tough. And not because I want you to take on the burdens of the world, but because that's just the way it's going to be. Because I'm putting you through boot camp. Not really. It's just that what nobody seems to get about, nothing can fix the world until God decides in his time that he returns. Now, these people, Jordan Peterson looks at the Bible like from a psychological level, so he's not going to believe that's a true thing. But then that's where he screws it all up. Like that, you have to face that you're just as evil as the next person. Yeah, that's not what you have to face. You have to just face your own, your own inner demons. I mean, that's what I had to do when I got clean. But the way he explains it, it's like, no, this isn't like you're going through the exact path Jesus went through. It's very simple. Jesus said the whole world lies with the wicked one. So if you're going to walk with him, then you can expect that it's not going to be an easy road. It's not going to be, lollipops and kittens all the time. But that to, keep fighting the good fight, keep, heading forward, win the race. Where Shapiro gets it wrong is because it's all about, they think that their works do it. No, it says in the Bible, but they don't recognize the New Testament. And that's the reason for Jesus's life, because God saw, look at this, look at what they're doing. Now they just, I got to go kill the ox so that I can be freed from my sins. It became just a regular thing. Let me follow this up so that I can go further into Ben Shapiro.